Good morning, and konnichiwa. In fact, how the devil are you doing on this fine day? It is a lovely weather out there at the moment. Probably not as good as where our friend Gary Muirhead is. He is currently in Tenerife, enjoying life, I think. Steve Williamson's with us as well. Dan Cullen is there. How the begolly are we all doing this wonderful day? I'm doing fine and dandy, despite a severe lack of sleep. I can tell you that Mark Whiting was the first off the mark this morning. Good morning, Mark. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Very quickly, I do need to give you a couple of very quick heads ups. There will be no show on Monday. I'm going to be at the funeral of my wife's uncle. So Monday, the 2nd of September, no show. Please make a note in your diary. I'll be sure to tell Ken Hatcher when he arrives, but no show on Monday next week. Jim Turner has just arrived. Good morning. And our friend Mick has just arrived. Haven't seen you for a while, Mick. Hope you're fitting well, my friend. Let's give you a very quick mention in the chat. Do the same for Jim as well. Good morning, everyone. Yes, Monday, no show at all. And it's going to be good practice for you because at the end of the month, another quick heads up, you'll have to manage without me for a whole week while I go off to Las Vegas to walk among the giants at MinExpo. Chris Ford has just arrived. Good morning. Lucani, loving the commie look. Very stylish. The commie look. Okay, I'll take that. Wasn't exactly what I was going for this morning, but thank you very much indeed. I'm on a podcast this afternoon. I'm on a I'm on a transatlantic video podcast this afternoon, so I thought I'd better wear something a little bit more spick and span than I normally do. So yes, there you are. That's that bit. Just another very quick heads up as well. Today's morning monologue is going to be a bit different because it's a work of fiction. Obviously, it's usually me ranting and raving about something or other. Today is a work of fiction plucked fresh from the dark recesses of my brain. I do hope you can stick around for that. Why does No Show Monday sound familiar? Because it is. We will let you have a week off, Mark. Hence, you'll come back with some great content. That is the plan. Yeah, I mean, obviously, MinExpo doesn't come around very often. I can never remember whether it's every 3 or every 4 years, but it doesn't happen very often, and it's quite some time since I've been to one, so I'm planning to go there and to fill my boots. Alex Latham is here as well. Morning, Mark. Morning, all. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. It has been a good week so far. Yeah, all things being equal, it's been a very good week. Going to be a bit of a crappy start to next week. As I say, on Monday I'll be at a funeral, which is a sad one, but it is what it is. That is the circle of life. So shall we crack on? I think it probably is time that we did that. Yeah, lots to get through today, so stick around. It is Thursday, the 29th of August. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Antony, the Walrus of Demolition. In today's show, Caterpillar plans for a sustainable world, building bridges in paradise, XCMG's latest telescopic handler, and imagine having that much dust, which will make a whole lot of sense when we actually get to it. Plus, as I've already warned you, in our after-show chat, Mark's morning monologue, we will be looking into an autonomous future when sites have fallen silent. That's the plan. Roberto Eduardo Tapia has just said, what's up? What's up with you, my friend? Where are you watching from? That's what I'd like to know. Let me take a wild stab. You're somewhere Spanish or Portuguese? I don't actually know, but please let us know. Love to hear from you. And Ken Hatcher is here. So now I can announce again. Ken, no show on Monday. No show on Monday. Dan Cullen is here. No show on Monday for you either, Dan. I'm not doing this specifically. There will be no show. I'm not singling you out, but there will be no show on Monday because I'm at a funeral. So, yes, we need to play the mystery machine, don't we? So let me fire that up. It looks a bit like this. Right, I will show you very, very quickly the mystery machine, which looks like that. There you are. That's the mystery machine. I'm going to go back to the chat while you're looking at that. And our friend Mick says, sorry, not been about. Hit 73 the other week. Well, belated many happy returns. I've been traveling about. Sod knows why. Seems those I know are getting thin on the ground. Yeah, I get that feeling from time to time. I really do get that feeling from time to time. There is a. It seems that we my black suit and my black tie seems to be at the front of the wardrobe these days. Not particularly happy about it, if I'm being completely honest, but that's the way it is. And yes, a very quick heads up from Ken Hatcher, who turns out he was semi-hacked. His Apple Pay was semi-hacked. He had somebody basically helping themselves to £6.99 on a fairly regular basis. Thankfully, he spotted it. Thankfully, Apple stepped in and rectified the situation, but not good. And I have to admit, I don't watch that particularly closely. I realise it's linked to my debit card, but I use Apple Pay almost without thinking these days. So watch your Apple Pay, people. Anybody got any guesses on the mystery machine? I'd love to hear from you. But while you're thinking about it, we do need to do the other thing that we do about this time, which is the Excavator World Cup. Yeah, Excavator World Cup for today looks like that. It is Hidromek taking on XCMG for a place in the next round. Or if you'd prefer, it is Kebab versus Chicken Chow Mein. Maybe. I don't know if that will help you decide or not. It's the usual set of rules. You've got £150,000 to spend on excavators. You could only choose one of those two brands. Do you go Turkish with Hidromek or do you go Chinese with XCMG? That's what we'd like to know. What has somebody said in the chat? This is Gary Muirhead, reckons he's identified our mystery machine, which looks like that. He has gone for the Maruka MST 110 CR track dumper. It is not one of those. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Steve Williamson is going for the Komatsu HD605-8. It isn't, but you're close. You are very close. And suddenly we have a flurry of support for Hidromek. There's Gary Muirhead is saying Hidromek, Ken Hatcher saying Hidromek, Steve Williamson saying Hidromek. So as it stands at the moment, it is 3-0. 3-0 to the Turks. And, well, obviously nil to the Chinese. Dan Cullen reckons that our mystery machine could be a Cat 797. It is not. Let me show you a bit more. Maybe that will help. Hang on a minute. Let me get rid of the comment there, Chris, because that might help you. There you are. Chris says, bugger today. The subtitles are covering the square on my phone. I do apologize for that. But I'm going to take mine away. There you are. That's what you're working with. Dan Cullen reckons it could be a Komatsu 980E. It is not. Lou Carney is throwing her weight behind the Hidromek brand, so it's 4-0. 4-0 to the Turks. This could be a runaway victory, I think. And Dan is also going for the Komatsu 930E. It is not. You're in the ballpark, but you're not there yet. Let me take all of that away because it is time to start the show. And we're going to be talking all things sustainability with the mighty Caterpillar in just a moment. Okay, it's game over with the mystery machine. There we are. That's what we were working with. And things are getting interesting. Steve Williamson didn't take part in the mystery machine up until about the middle of the month. And he warned us all at the time that he was coming. Not in the biblical sense, that he was coming for everyone. He's got another one in the bag, people. There we are. He reckons it's a Komatsu HD1500 Dash 8. Precisely what it says on my ickle bit of paper here as well. So let me, when I can find a pen, I'm going to put another SW down. Yeah, we've got a few more days of the month to go, and there is every possibility that Steve Williamson could actually pip Dan Cullen at the post. Another vote for Hidromek. Yeah, absolutely. They're storming away with that. Chris Ford is going for Volvo. It's not a Volvo. It is, as you can see, the Komatsu HD1500, and it's the Dash 8 version as well. Congratulations, Steve. Well done. It's almost not even worth worrying about now. I think Hidromek have run away with this for today. But if you would like to vote for either of those, please do so. Just type Hidromek or XCMG into the chat. So I did promise you some Caterpillar, and Caterpillar you shall jolly well have. This is their vision of a sustainable future.
At Caterpillar, we take pride in what we do and make possible. From the quality of our products and services to the people who stand behind them, we are proud of how we help our customers build a better, more sustainable world.
We have a legacy of providing products and services that continually improve quality of life and the environment by helping our customers fulfill society's need for infrastructure, including shelter, clean water, transportation, and reliable energy in a sustainable way.
We help the world's doers construct the roads, bridges, seaports, and runways that connect people to jobs, opportunities, and one another.
We help miners unearth material found in everything from smartphone displays to batteries for electric vehicles. And we support our customers as they extract fuels to satisfy global energy demand.
We offer multiple solutions made to match our customers' work, such as hybrid, electric drive, or battery-powered electric drive equipment. Many Caterpillar products also operate on lower carbon alternatives, including biodiesel, renewable diesel, and biogas.
Our microgrid worksite solutions integrate renewable energy sources like solar or hydropower into electric power systems. We provide autonomous and remote control equipment that improves efficiency and enhances safety.
Within our operations, we are reducing emissions, water use, and waste. And through remanufacturing, we are taking back millions of pounds of end-of-life components, keeping non-renewable resources in circulation for multiple lifetimes.
As our world continues to evolve, our people will be there doing the work that matters, helping our customers build a better, more sustainable world.
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 If the future is designed and created by Caterpillar, I think we're in pretty safe hands. I do need to throw over to the Instagram chat. Mostly Diggers have just joined us. Morning, Garvin. NPK Europe, makers of some of the finest attachments in all of Christendom. They are here as well. And Earl Fallon has just joined us over there as well. What do we get? Dan Cullen says, I'm going to have a word with the E. Keep freezing when I put in the correct guess again. Imagine Gary Muirhead's pain, because he guessed long after we'd decided what the mystery machine was, that it was a Komatsu HD1500-7. Apparently his message took a long while. It took the long way round from Tenerife to leafy Surrey. Let's have a look. Steve Williamson saying the view from the cab of those big dumpers. Wow. Got more of that a bit later on. They seem to stay quiet for a while, Caterpillar, and then all of a sudden loads of new videos. They do indeed. A huge company, incredibly huge company, yeah. And I've watched them. We used to do the PR for Caterpillar, and I can't remember the exact figures, but I remember saying, they were I don't know, it's like a $5 billion company, and then they were a $7 billion company, and then they were a $12 billion company. Just keeps growing and growing and growing. Steve says 114,000 employees at Caterpillar. Unbelievable stuff. Does that bring us up to date? I think it does. Apart from the fact that Chris Ford is being contrarian this morning because he's just voted for XCMG in a mystery machine. It's not going to change the outcome, but he's voted for XCMG just to be different. And Steve says on the subject of Hidromek, don't see many really. Hidromeks really. Been in the UK for a good while now, but still don't see many. They seem to have some regional strongholds, and I think it's probably down to the local dealer. If you've got a good local dealer, you might well see a few Hidromeks in your area. If you haven't, you probably won't. Same as it ever was with just about every brand you can think of, actually. I'm going to be back, even though XCMG look like they're on the way out the door on the Excavator World Cup. I'm going to be back with them in just a moment.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
So yesterday I showed you a new small excavator from XCMG, and you all appeared, to put it politely, largely underwhelmed. So I wonder what you'll make of their new telescopic handler. So XCMG, virtually everything that XCMG make is yellow. Yeah, go into the telescopic handlers and suddenly they're red. You know, the red of Manitou, the red of Manu. Coincidence? Maybe not. Dan Cullen says, I think Sany's new telehandlers beats it better cab layout. I have to say, I had a very quick look. It was a very quick look at the Sany telehandlers while I was over at Intermat, and I totally agree. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Agri-spec colour red, maybe? Or is that part of the planned conquest of Europe? If people don't look closely enough, they might think it's actually a Manitou. XCMG substandard. Give them time. Give them time. Gary Muirhead, is there nothing that XCMG won't make? Probably not. Only a matter of time before they come up with a rival live stream to this, with a small Oriental person trying to sound like me. Good luck with that. Go back to Hidromek. What do we got here? Yeah, Gary says, my good friend who's a Hidromek dealer has sold lots of excavators in the Central Belt, gets loads of amazing feedback and returning customers. Good to hear. Good to hear. Steve Williamson, not particularly impressed. Well, kind of. He says the XCMG telehandler looks good enough. Exhaust looks a bit odd and huge. It did. It did look odd and huge. And just going back to Steve Williamson mentioned the fact that Caterpillar have got 114,000 employees. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Ken Hatcher says, that's a big wage bill every week. Yes, but then when you're making 20+ billion a year, probably find that much down the back of the sofa. I'm assuming that Caterpillar have got a company sofa. Maybe not. We're going to be heading off to somewhere we've never been before in just a moment. If memory serves me correctly, I don't think we've ever actually had a film from French Guyana before. I thought it was about time that we did.
My name is Julien Crespi. I'm the project director of Nouveau Pont du Larigot in French Guyana. The bridge we are building is to double the traffic shift in between French Guyana Airport in Cayenne to the European Space Agency site in Kourou.
Good morning, welcome in French Guyana. I'm Julian Agostini from the company Neptune Marine, Dutch company. The biggest benefit we bring to our customers is that we try to be a one-stop shop for everything what is related to maritime works. And in this specific area, we also bring the cranes. Neptune in that area choose not to be only a provider of one type of assets, but brings a complete setup what is to the satisfaction of the clients.
To build this bridge more sustainable, we are using low carbon concrete, obviously, and some specific methods, such as methods for the footings. In order not to use some cofferdam, we are using some precast elements. The cranes are one of the most important pieces of equipment for this project, mostly used for piles and pier construction. This is the new bridge, approximately 1.2 kilometer long viaduct, 90 different piers with access backfill on both sides, on both ends. The different piles are 1.6 meter diameter and can be up to 50 meter deep. To build the piles, we are using specific equipment called RCD, reverse circulation drilling. And to operate with this equipment, we do need some crawler crane. So this is why we choose Liebherr cranes to do this job.
Liebherr was able to understand our needs, was able to understand the fact that every asset of ours is a specific asset and needs to be customized. Liebherr was able to present machines, what were responding to our requests, what were responding to the market where we are acting. That means the maritime. Having the barge mode means that the machine is syncing with the operator and with the whole site in everything which is possible to avoid the risk zone and to have a maximum safe operation during all the lifting that has to be done on the site. We know that even the investment is a high one, we get it back because of the reliability of the machines and let's say the very low breakdowns. So yes, the investment is in line with the expectation.
Yeah, very smart indeed. Mostly Diggers over on Instagram has just asked, what do Cat manufacture assemble in the UK? Is it the backhoe loaders and telehandlers? Leicestershire, I think it is in Leicestershire. It is a place called Desford. They definitely do the backhoe loaders there. Not sure about the telehandlers, but they definitely do the backhoe loaders there. Partly answers your question. What have we got here? Trying to get to where I need to be. Gary, is French Guyana your next holiday, says Dan Cullen. No, apparently Gary is heading off to Italy. I think I know why. Steve Williamson says, we think we're good at building structures here in the UK, but when you see the challenges and projects abroad, and the workmanship is outstanding. It really is. Dan reckons that looks a tidy crane, and that's some weight on that barge. Indeed, it is. I'm going to be right back after this.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
We all know the importance of dust suppression, be it in demolition or construction, but imagine having that much space, that much dust, and that much money that your dust suppression system of choice is one of the biggest dump trucks in the Caterpillar product range. Yeah. Steve Williamson says the most expensive wheeled water tanker in the world. Yes, indeed it is. Jim Turner says the barrels size is relevant to the kit. The rest of the site is running, obviously. I found it interesting that Despe used converted concrete mixes for their dust suppression. They do indeed. But imagine that. Imagine what is a Cat 793? $1 million? More? $1 million just to keep the dust down. Obviously, the autonomous system might make it even more expensive. Working on a mine that size, I guess it makes perfect sense. And I do wonder about whether the that's actually saved a pretty boring job as well. Just driving backwards and forwards, dumping water. Dan Cullen says these tankers are a waste of time and a waste of money. You think? I'm sure Caterpillar would argue with that. Mick Norton says, enjoyed your piece on the old machines and nostalgic links. The Hymax Priestmans and O&Ks will resonate in my memory because they were the pioneers, trailblazers in the late 1960s, early 1970s. Today's new breed of operator will look back on quick hitches, GPS tilt rotators, and the onset of electric variants. In my son's lifetime, we will see a transition to autonomous machine operation with humans just a byproduct. Well, Mick, I honestly couldn't have asked you to arrive with that comment. I mean, thank you for the compliments on the old machine bit, but that bit about autonomous machines keys in perfectly our my morning monologue. But first of all, we do need to quickly resolve one thing, which is that thing right there. Let me take that off of there. So the latest round of our Excavator World Cup competition pitted Hidromek against XCMG, but which brand came out on top? We put it to the public vote, and I can tell you that the unanimous winner is it's Hidromek. Hidromek goes forward to the next round, while XCMG sadly leaves us empty-handed. Tomorrow's match is a battle between Develon and Komatsu. So make sure you tune in and take part and hopefully influence the outcome of that. That pretty much wraps up all of that. So it is time for the morning monologue, which I'm going to tell you in advance. It is a work of fiction. If that doesn't sound like something you can get behind, please feel free to go and enjoy your day. But I'll be back in just a moment with that morning monologue. I'm going to try and do this in my very best reading voice, so bear with me. Construction and demolition sites, once bustling with the clamour of machinery and the shouts of workers, have fallen silent. The cacophony that once defined these places, hammers striking steel, engines roaring, and voices chattering and shouting, is now a distant memory, replaced by an eerie quiet that pervades the landscape. The dawn of the human-free construction era has arrived, and with it, a world that feels unsettlingly alien. The transition was gradual at first. Autonomous machines capable of performing tasks with precision and efficiency far beyond human capability were initially introduced as assistants. They learned from us, shadowing workers and absorbing their skills, perfecting every move, every calculation. The machines became smarter, more capable. Before long, they were no longer the assistants. They were the masters. Slowly, the need for human hands on sites diminished, and what began as a complement to the human workforce soon turned into a replacement. The sites themselves have changed too. Gone are the temporary offices where supervisors once planned the day's work over coffee, the portable toilets lined up in rows, the break areas where workers shared stories, cigarettes, and laughter. In their place are sleek metallic pods, command centres for the autonomous vehicle fleet, where AI oversees and monitors operations with clinical detachment. The machines move in perfect synchrony, executing tasks with mechanical precision. There's no hesitation, no misstep, only the relentless pursuit of progress. But it's the silence that is most striking. The absence of human noise, of life, leaves a void that the hum of machinery will never fill. The clatter of boots on concrete, the clang of metal on metal, the spontaneous laughter that once punctuated the day, all are gone. The machines communicate with each other in frequencies beyond human hearing. Their conversations are a symphony of code and data that we can neither understand nor participate in. The sense of isolation is palpable, even though the work continues unabated. The efficiency is undeniable. Buildings rise in record time and demolition is executed with surgical precision. The mistakes and delays that once plagued the industry, now a distant memory. But with this efficiency comes a cost, one that isn't measured in financial terms or time, but in something more intangible, the loss of human connection. The machines, devoid of emotion or empathy, cannot appreciate the art of construction, the pride in a job well done. They never pause to admire the sunset over a newly erected skyscraper or feel the satisfaction of a perfectly executed demolition. They don't share a cold drink at the end of a long, hot day or swap stories about the toughest job they ever worked on. The camaraderie that once defined these sites has been replaced by cold, impersonal efficiency. The human element, the heart and soul of the industry, systematically erased. In this new world, the construction sites are sterile, devoid of life. The workers who once breathed life into these places have been relegated to roles of oversight, watching from a distance as the machines do what they once did with their own hands. And as they watch, they are acutely aware that even their oversight might be temporary. The AI systems learn quickly, and soon they will not need human eyes to guide them. The day is coming when even this last vestige of humanity will be deemed unnecessary. And so the world of construction and demolition becomes one of ghosts. The ghosts of those who once worked here. Their laughter, their sweat, their toil, now echoes in the minds of those who remain. A reminder of what once was. The sites, though full of activity, feel abandoned, the human spirit that once animated them having departed. The machines continue their work, unaware of the loss, indifferent to the nostalgia that grips those who remember. And humanity looks on and wonders, who will be next to be replaced by machines? Very H.G. Wells, I think you'll agree. Let's have a look. What have we got? Going back just a little bit. Let's have a look. Gary Muirhead. Totally agree with today's decision on Hidromek, especially coming out of the Opera cab. Wow, a big development in cab design. I totally agree with that 100%. Are we just a dying breed? I don't think I will be around to see it. But yeah. I think the only thing preventing it now in truth, is somebody being bold enough to say go. You know, we have autonomous machines, we have systems that can control them. All it needs is for somebody to have the balls or the wherewithal to say, yeah, that's the way to go. We're done with that. I mean, bearing in mind yesterday's chat was about the fact that we've had in the year to March 2020, March this year, in the year to March 2024, 51 people killed on demolition and construction sites up and down the UK. Easy way to do away with that, just take people off the site. And you know, it does feel, going back to Gary's question there, it does feel like we are in the midst of a perfect storm. We've seen a rise in accidents. We've seen a decline in people coming into the industry. We've seen a skill shortage that is not getting any better at all. So what do people do? If construction and demolition companies want to maintain the levels of output that they're doing now, they will need to find an alternative way. Hopefully that alternative way will be finding some new way to lure new people into the industry. But if they don't, autonomous could be the answer. Steve Williamson, everyone says this and that about it, but it's going to happen and it will work. It will work. Make no mistake. I don't know what the current figures are. I think the last I heard, it was 7 billion. So, and I realize that mines exist in the middle of nowhere. I realize there's not many people about anyway, but I think the last I heard, Caterpillar's autonomous mining fleet has now shifted 7 billion tons of material without a single incident. Now, I do realize the fact that mines and quarries are very different to construction sites. As I say, middle of nowhere, not many people about, and the route, the whole route for a big dump truck, for example, is very, very predictable. Make construction and demolition predictable, and you don't have a problem anymore. Steve, I agree with you. As I say, I think it's going to happen. The only question I have in my head is when and to what degree. Mick says, we had a fire in a block of new build flats the other day. Mate of mine attended from his station along with most of the East London's fire service. He said even the fire service are now concerned and worried as to the size and build quality is affecting the minds of firefighters. Says a lot, I think. Yeah, indeed. And how is it? I mean, we saw that fire in Dagenham that caught while they were removing the cladding, which, you know, goes back to Grenfell. When was Grenfell? 7 years ago, was it? Off the top of my head, 6-7 years ago, and we're just now getting round to removing that cladding. Steve says, I'm all for it, and I hope to see it and use it before my time ends. I think you're in a perfect position, Steve, because I mean, obviously you're tech savvy, but I think you're used to working with technology as well. I think you would. Well, there you are. He says it himself. New job title, 360 Technitron operator. Yeah. I mean, I think you could go from behind the levers of an actual machine to behind the levers of a simulated machine. So you're actually tucked away in an office somewhere overseeing the site. I think you could do that in no problem at all. True words, Mark says, Mick. Thank you very much indeed. Jim Turner, please say you're going to get that set to Jeff Wayne's music. It was, I have to say, something very similar to that was in my mind. Autonomous trialing of ADTs on the A14 was not without incident. Is that right? But again, it's early doors. And let's not forget, I'm saying about mines, and it's a big shift. The Chinese are building massive motorways using autonomous machines. Paver up front, bunch of rollers behind them, all remote or autonomous. The hub of the autonomous package is the paver, and it tells the compaction equipment what to do, and it just goes for mile after mile after mile. Not an issue. Does anyone really think brands haven't thought of everything? They aren't going to put out out on site that's not going to work. There is testing going on as we speak. I have no idea about it. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I mean, Volvo, as an example, been very, very open. You know, they've had these autonomous mini haulers working up at Eskilstuna now, off the top of my head, probably 5 years. Day in, day out, 24/7. They just go round, 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 charging themselves, loading themselves, emptying themselves, time and time and time again. And when somebody says we're ready for it now, those machines will have clocked up millions of hours of test time. They will be able to prove it. They will only tell you what they want you to hear. Yeah, well, again, this is another question mark. In the mining sector, I've mentioned this before, in the mining sector, there does seem to be a more collaborative approach between the mining companies and the manufacturers. So Caterpillar is in bed with several mining companies. Komatsu is in bed with another bunch. I know Fortescue are working very closely with Liebherr on hydrogen-powered trucks. What is going on right there? And how long before we have somebody do the same in the construction field or in the equipment rental field? You know, you imagined, one of the big European Loxam or something like that, a big European rental company, getting into bed with a manufacturer and saying, okay, we can really start to push autonomy as the solution. Steve Williamson says, Gary flew to Tenerife. How? Autopilot. I'll be flying whatever it is, 5,000 miles, I guess, to Las Vegas. And I don't suppose the pilot will do much else apart from do announcements and hold the levers while we take off and land. Rest of the time, a machine and AI will be doing that, and he'll be following a beacon. If a Boeing 757 can follow a beacon 5,000 miles, I'm pretty sure we can devise a beacon that a mini excavator can follow 100 yards. This was at New Providence Wharf on the Isle of Dogs a couple of days after the Dagenham fire. Yeah, there has been a bit of an outbreak, hasn't there? Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, but you still have a pilot to take over when the brown stuff hits the fan. That will be the first stage. I mean, that's kind of what I hinted at in that fictional piece that I just gave you. I think it won't be a case of men stop, machine start. It will be a case of, we'll have some men tucked away, much as I predicted in my Demolition 2051 book some time ago. We'll have men tucked away, Technitron operator Steve Williamson will be tucked away in an office somewhere, possibly overseeing more than one site, possibly overseeing more than one machine. And then slowly and slowly and slowly, as the machines become smarter, as AI becomes smarter, all of a sudden, Steve's position and those like him will just not be there anymore. In absolute truth, I think if you were to do the math, actually look at the studies and everything else, I think from a public reassurance point of view, we want a pilot sat in the cockpit. We do. It would be weird to get on a plane and have no pilot. But I wonder just how many times they actually have to get involved. And, with a Boeing 757, if something goes catastrophically wrong, I would like to think that the AI and the autopilot has probably got every bit as much knowledge about sorting it out as the pilot. Trialing is how we test everything. You're absolutely right. I wonder if an autonomous dragline is technically possible. A dragline would surely be one of those that would be very, very straightforward to do, because it is throw, dig, repeat, throw, dig, repeat. I think so long as if you're loading into trucks, for example, so long as your trucks are lining up in the right place, and again, you could make those autonomous, so long as you're doing that time and time and time again, the dragline will just keep hitting the marks. Chris Ford says, when I drive a machine on a muck shift, I think I'm an autopilot. Dig, slew, empty, repeat. Yeah. I think that's a very good point. And, going back to the bit that I said in that piece that I just did, the machines will learn from us. As it stands at the moment, I think a lot of this is taking place in laboratories and skunk works within the dark depths of construction equipment manufacturers. But imagine an AI that was installed in machines probably around the world to monitor the precise movements and cameras all around, the precise movements that everyone does, those little twitches of the controls that empty the bucket and that kind of thing, and take that from hundreds of thousands of hours of hundreds of thousands of operators. It's like, give a million monkeys a million typewriters, sooner or later they will write the works of Shakespeare. But if you gave an AI that level of input, you would end up with the greatest excavator operator that the world has ever seen. You would. And it kind of makes me wonder, that notion of having an Olympics where we accept the fact that half the athletes are on steroids or on improvement in performance enhancing drugs. Imagine a world operator challenge in which an AI could take part. Give it time, and it would beat humans out of sight, without question. Just ponder an autonomous CSCS card. You see, there's a bit of me that wonders if the card companies are already sat there thinking, yeah, how do we go about that? Well, we will have to have a test. We will have to have a test to make sure that the AI is up to scratch. Maybe it would need a card. You can just imagine it. Instead of all in a machine, you'll be monitoring various machines in an office take over. But auto and AI will do more than any human. Yeah, it will. And it's not just a case of more, no sick time, no hangovers, no funerals to attend like I've got next week. None of that. You've got no needs for breaks, no sick time, no holiday pay. All of that just gone away in an instant. Just put a cross through it, and now we crack on. And not only can you work 24/7, 365 days a year, your accuracy will be through the roof. Through the roof. Mick says, great program called Air Crash Investigation. One was about the computers went haywire and couldn't be turned off by the pilot. Every time he disengaged it, it turned itself back on again. That's like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Mick Norton said, some might say if the machines learn from us, God help us. Yeah. But again, I think, machines and AI is smart enough. I'm only thinking of this on the fly. But bear in mind, we have telematics in machines already. So the actions of operators are to a degree being mirrored or being monitored anyway. But imagine if all that data was collected and, you could see, this out of 1,000 tested, this 100 operators produce more for less consistently. What is it that they're doing? What, is it the way they slew? Is it the way they dig? Is it the way they dump? Whatever it might be, monitor that. Now replicate it. And it will. It absolutely will. Would AI be able to understand the miracle on the Hudson and the skill of Captain Sully's hat? The skill Captain Sully had on that day? Possibly not. But again, listen. I'm a sleepy flyer. I don't care about the presence of the pilot. In fact, he just interrupts my naps. So I'm not all that worried about it. But in the same way that we could, as Steve described it, you could have someone operating an excavator from a remote office. Do we need a pilot? I realise we need it to reassure and everything else, but do we need it? Could we not have done that from the ground? I'm sure we could. An AI funeral, bloody hell! I hope my paid plan doesn't go to waste. Let's not even think about that. Can AI stack bricks 20 high mark? Yeah. In the right conditions, so long as it had so long as it could be given the time to level what it was working with and everything else. Yes, I believe it could. I do. When it all goes wrong, AI will still blame the operator. That part of the industry has never changed. It's always somebody else's fault, regardless of the presence of AI. Good point, Gary. The computer said he could make an airport. When investigated, they found out it could not. Indeed. No, the AI will be too busy laying them instead of playing with them. Quite possibly. But when I've been up close with a bricklaying machine, and stunningly fast, stunningly quiet, but also accurate to the point of stupidity. When you look along a wall, there's even a good bricklayer, you're going to get slight variations in the actual place of the bricks. You look at one that's been built by AI, it's laser level. Here's a question. It says, Jim Turner, why autonomize the machine? Why not have humanoid robots in the seat for the day-to-day jobs? Then it's not only an autonomous machine. It's a good point. And I do think, I'm quite surprised that we haven't gone down the route of exoskeletons and stuff. They exist. I know Hilti are doing them, mainly for working overhead, so you're not taking the strain of a big handheld tool and stuff. But you imagine internal strip out. Put somebody in one of those exoskeletons, like out the Alien movie, and get them to stamp about the place and pull stuff down. Why not? Why not, indeed? And maybe they would be able to put that into other uses as well. Steve says, it's AI I use at the demo shows. That's how I look good. Wouldn't that be a shock to everyone? Wouldn't it be a shock if Steve was just sat there looking glamorous in his sunglasses when actually an AI was doing the work for him? They now have robots that can run, hop, shoot guns, so surely they can sit on their asses pulling levers all day. Piece of cake. Piece of cake, I'm sure. Mick says, right, gents, good to see you're all about. Need to take the hound for a walk by the river. He is missing the few beaches he's been crapping on, and me forgetting the bags. Well, don't forget the bags. Don't be that guy. You pick up your bits and pieces. Anyone ever seen Lee Evans talking about that? What your dog must make of you picking up their deposits in those tiny bags. You pick up their deposits and stuff, and then you come home from the supermarket with huge bags. What the hell did that? Yeah, thank you for that, Lee Evans. Have a safe day, gents. Catch you later. You better watch out, Mark. You're next. You'll be next. Hey, listen, they could train a monkey to do this job. Press buttons, not a problem at all. And AI probably wouldn't stumble over its words doing monologues either. I can already stamp around and pull things about when I spit the W. Can't we all? Can't we all? I think that will probably do us. Where are we? Yeah, that's nearly an hour. I think that will probably do us. What we got here? Mick Norton says, push loading scrapers with a dozer, casting a drag line, bank battering with a grader, working on hillside. Cuts all difficult for the operator to master. I feel autonomous would not cope safely and productively. I think it would. I do think it would. My machine is fitted out with autos, just needs the software. Pull a paddle on the joystick and it will tilt and rotate the tilt rotator depending on cambers, banks and so on. Pull lever with the index finger and pull back one handle. Yeah. Listen, it sounds, as it stands at the moment, it sounds like a really big leap, this notion of autonomy. But it's already there. And AI is already there. You think about all the drive range you have in the cab now, depth restrictors and height restrictors and all that. All of that is AI. That's all it is. A political promise sounds like the stuff you get in black bags. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. The honeymoon for Mr. Starmer didn't last long, did it? Things are going to get worse before they get better. Well, thanks for that. You might have mentioned that before we voted for you. I didn't, as it happens, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, not going to. I think we're in for a bit of a rough ride. But hey, listen, we've been there before, and we've come out the other end by and large, haven't we? By and large, unscathed. By and large. Right, everybody, go have a fantastic day. No idea what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. Don't really know what I was talking about today, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's have a look. If I watched enough work, it would definitely work it out, Mick. Just 10,000 hours needed. Yeah, I'm sure it would. And it would watch every single intricacy that an operator did. As I say, you know, those not the, you know, we all know what the levers do in their various orientations, but that point where you do that like slight, it would pick all of that up, and that would become second nature to an AI. I love election results. Nobody ever votes for who's in power. That's very true. Very true. And yet, regardless of who you vote for, the government always gets in, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. Right, everybody, go and have a fantastic day. I'll be back tomorrow for the final time for a few days, actually. No show on Monday, but I will be here tomorrow to round out the week. So, hope to see you then. Have a good day. I'll see you soon.